"By the life of the Lord, the God of Israel, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years except at my word." Talk about an entrance, right? With that single, dramatic declaration to a king, a man just appears on the stage of history. No introduction, no origin story, just a mission. So let's get into the incredible story of this man who becomes a legend, a zealot, a fugitive, and ultimately a true prophet. The first thing you've got to understand about Elijah is that he literally comes out of nowhere in the biblical text. He just shows up, fully formed, a man who seems to have no past, confronting King Ahab and, well, all of us, with this world-changing threat. So picture the world he walks into. It's the 9th century BCE, and the kingdom of Israel is, to put it mildly, a mess. After King Solomon died, the nation fractured. The 10 northern tribes broke away, and what's left is this politically and religiously volatile kingdom that's really struggling to figure out what it stands for.
And at the very heart of all this chaos is a massive power struggle. And it's not just between people, it's a battle between gods. Let's meet the key players in this drama.
So on the throne, you have King Ahab. But the real force to be reckoned with politically and spiritually is his wife, Queen Jezebel. Now, she's not an Israelite. She's a Phoenician princess, and she brought her religion with her. Her official state policy is to promote the worship of Baal, the powerful storm and fertility god from her homeland. And this, right here, is the core of the whole conflict. On one side, you have YHW, the god of Israel, who demands absolute exclusive loyalty. And on the other, you have Baal, the god of rain, the god of the harvest, whose worship is now sponsored by the government. This isn't just a simple disagreement. This is a fight for the very soul of the nation. So after declaring a drought, which is a huge, direct challenge to a rain god, right? Elijah has to go on the run. He becomes a fugitive. And it's during this time in exile that he starts to show where the real power comes from. First, he's hiding out in the wilderness, and get this, ravens bring him food every day. Then, God sends him on this incredibly bold mission deep into Phoenicia, Baal's home turf. While he's there, he performs a miracle, providing an endless supply of food for a starving widow. And when her son dies, Elijah does the unthinkable. He brings the boy back to life. He's proving his God has power over food and life itself, in the very land where Baal is supposed to be king. Okay, so years have passed. The drought has devastated the land. The time for hiding is over. Elijah comes back to force a final, public, no-holds-barred confrontation. This is it, the moment of truth. He gathers all the people and he just calls them out with this incredibly powerful challenge. He says they're hopping between two branches, trying to have it both ways, worshiping YHW and Baal. And he tells them, no more. You have to choose, right here, right now. The contest he proposes is beautiful in its simplicity. 2 altars, 2 sacrifices. Baal's 450 prophets will call on their God. Elijah will call on his. The one rule, no one lights a fire. The God who answers with fire from heaven wins. He is the one true God. The people are in. So the prophets of Baal go first. And for hours, all morning long, they're crying out, dancing, hopping around their altar. As the day goes on, they get more and more desperate, even cutting themselves with swords and lances until blood is flowing. And what's Elijah doing this whole time? He's not just watching, he's mocking them. His taunts are just brutal. Shout louder, he says. Maybe your God is busy or on a trip, or hey, maybe he's just asleep and you need to wake him up. This mockery just perfectly highlights how powerless their God really is. And after all that shouting and dancing and bleeding, nothing. Absolute silence. No voice, no answer. Crickets. Then it's Elijah's turn. He rebuilt his altar, prepares the sacrifice, and then he does something just wild. He has them drench the whole thing with water, over and over, until a trench around the altar is completely full. Then, after one short, simple prayer, fire just falls from the sky. It doesn't just burn the sacrifice, it burns everything. The wood, the stones, the dirt, and it even licks up all the water in the trench. A display of total, undeniable power. So, this is it, right? The ultimate triumph. He won. The case is closed. But the story takes a turn you would never, ever expect. When Queen Jezebel finds out what happened, she doesn't repent. She just sends a messenger to Elijah with a simple promise. By this time tomorrow, you'll be dead. And the man who just called down fire from heaven completely shatters. This is such a powerful picture of burnout. After this massive spiritual victory, a single threat sends him running for his life, collapsing in the desert and actually praying to die. An angel comes and gives him strength, and he begins this deeply symbolic journey. For 40 days and 40 nights, he travels to Horeb, which is just another name for Mount Sinai. This is the exact same mountain where Moses got the 10 Commandments. Elijah is going back to the source. He finds a cave on the mountain, and this incredible display of power starts. A hurricane-force wind rips through the mountains, powerful enough to shatter rocks. But the text is very clear. God was not in the wind. After the wind, an earthquake shakes the mountain. But God wasn't in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, there was fire, the very thing that defined his victory on Mount Carmel. But this time, God was not in the fire. All of these huge, loud, violent displays of power, that's not where God is. So where is he? After the fire, the original Hebrew says there was a call damama daka. It gets translated as a still, small voice, but it means something more like a sound of thin silence. It's this incredible paradox. And it's in that profound, defining quiet that Elijah finally meets God. The lesson here is absolutely transformative. True divine power isn't always in the big, noisy public spectacle. Sometimes it's found in the private, internal silence. And this quiet encounter on the mountain changes Elijah's entire mission. He arrived a broken man, a fiery zealot who had hit rock bottom. He leaves with a brand new purpose. God's new instructions for him aren't about more fire and showdowns. Instead, it's all about the future. He's told to anoint new kings, to get involved in the political succession, and most importantly, he needs to find and anoint his own successor, a man named Elisha. His job is no longer about destruction, it's about continuity, it's about passing the mantle. And this really brings us to the two opposite poles of Elijah's entire journey. On one side, you have the spectacular, public, all-consuming fire on Mount Carmel, and on the other, you have the quiet, private, life-changing stillness on Mount Horeb. One was a show for the crowds, the other was a revelation for one broken man. And that really brings us to the core question that Elijah's story leaves us with. It forces us to ask, what is the true nature of power, of faith, of making a real difference? Is it the dramatic, spectacular fire that consumes everything in its path? Or is it the quiet, internal stillness that truly transforms a person from the inside out?